I really want to note this because I was very much impressed and pleased by this. Whenever guys would come up to me and try to dance or offer me a drink and I said no thanks, they respectfully walked away. I know the bar is low, but that is a certified win. But there was this one really creepy moment in Rolly.
Oh, here we go again.
I just can't explain this. There was some guy with arms crossed, standing right behind her, not swaying, not dancing or nothing, with his pelvis and his peen pressed forward against her butt, just
what you say, that you only meant well.
What's up, idols? It's Cece Lesson 3. Welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today we are finally doing it. We are finally doing the elusive clubbing in Korea vlog update 2025 post-COVID edition. I've had 2 weekends to experience the nightlife in Korea since COVID, and I decided to go out and vlog a little bit of it. So here's what I'm gonna do. At first I was gonna do like the clubbing part like as a part 1 or part 2, and the talking about it like this in a part 1 or part 2. But I decided to just make it one video, make things simpler. But the thing is, on my Patreon, I'm gonna include the Itaewon footage and stuff. And on my Patreon, I'm also gonna have longer clips of it because there's a lot of music playing everywhere and it's really easy to get copyrighted. If 7 seconds or more of audio is playing somewhere that's a song that is recognized, then it'll get copyright claimed. So yeah, at the end of this video, you guys will see some of the clubbing footage that I took in Hongdae last weekend. Me and the girls out, we went to get some food first, and then we went club hopping. And you can be there with us. So yeah, check out the Patreon if you want to see a longer clip of the clubbing scenes. Also, yesterday I just uploaded a story time on Patreon where a girl hooked up with a guy here, found out he was in a cult. You can't make this shit up. Fret not if you guys missed the story times. The very next video on my channel is gonna be a story time. It is a story time about a girl who has a sweet Korean fiance, but his mom is racist. Dad seems lovely, mom is difficult. So be on the lookout for that video in the next few days. So for the OG viewers, I started my YouTube channel in 2018 and I moved to Korea in 2017. In 2017, I lived in Jeju, but I spent every weekend in Seoul, and me and my friends would always flock to Hongdae, specifically clubs like Sabotage or Go-Go's back in the day. Go-Go's is now called Onyx, so a lot has changed since the last time I was out here. So I'm just gonna tell you guys a bit about how Korea has changed in my opinion as far as clubbing goes, because in my opinion, I think it's a lot more opening to foreigners now, and I think they're less racist now against foreigners. So yeah, 2017, the first place I went clubbing to was in Daegu. That was during orientation. We had like one night out. One night we got off from learning how to teach, from learning a bit of Korean, from learning like the customs and the culture in this country to assimilate better. We got one night out. And everybody's like, oh, this is nothing, wait till you get to Seoul. So fast forward to March of 2017, finally got to see what nightlife was like in Seoul. First we went to Hongdae, then we did a bit of Gangnam. And I didn't really start clubbing in Itaewon until 2018, more on that in a second. So yeah, Hongdae. As a young lady, I was like 23 back then. The way I'm used to the night scene, the nightlife going, as a girl, if you get to the clubs before midnight, you have a better chance of getting in for free. Guys, unfortunately, I usually always end up having to pay. It's like one of the few perks that there is to being a girl. You get in clubs for free. There's a lot more perks these days. More on that in a second. But yeah, back then I remember like we used to spend the day out exploring Korea, having fun, because we only had the weekends to do this. So then we hurry up and try to get ready, try to make it to the clubs before midnight so we can get it for free. But usually, on average, I was perfectly accustomed to paying like 10,000 won, 5,000 won for entry at most clubs there. And then a little bit later on, like around 2019, it got to the point where I noticed a lot of clubs were charging foreigners only. For example, there's a club called Attention in Hongdae, which is actually still there. I haven't tried to go back, so I don't know if they've gotten rid of that foreigner only pay thing. Yeah, and when I remember seeing like Korean guy, Korean girl ahead of me go in, no problem. And then when they tell us 10,000 won, we're like, oh, what? And the reason they like to give you is, well, the staff doesn't speak English, so sometimes it's a little more difficult, so we don't really want you in. But I've also heard stories and seen videos where they just flat out say, this is a club in Korea, why should it be filled with more foreigners? Like, there's too many foreigners here, come back on another night. And it's like, oh wow. The thing that I always found incredibly hilarious about that though, is the fact that when I first came to Korea, I had it in my mind I was gonna hear a lot of Korean hip hop and R&B, K-pop. Most of these clubs overwhelmingly play like American music and Western music. You hear a lot of Drake. Unfortunately, still they play a lot of Drake. You're starting to hear a lot more K-Dot though. It's always been like Western artists. It's always like a funny thing for me when they say, yeah, but no foreigners can come in. It's like, oh, That's an interesting take. So yeah, that was clubbing back then. I will say, like, with your 10,000 won admission, you would probably get like 1 free drink, and it was usually really watered down anyway. You can choose like 5 free shots with you and your friends. You can choose like 1 free cocktail from like their free drink menu. That's usually how it would go. You pay 10,000 won, you get 1 free drink. So then in 2018 is when finally, because don't get me wrong, Hongdae was fun and everything. Hongdae is lit. I get why a lot of people like to go there, but you know, too much of a good thing can be a bad thing, and it starts to get repetitive after a while. So when 2018 came along and I moved from Jeju to Taean, I was a lot closer to Seoul. And when I would come up to Seoul, I had another group of friends who really liked to go to Itaewon more. There was a club that I used to love called Boom Bar. It's gone, and I am devastated because that was one of the few clubs that I've ever been to anywhere in Korea where you are not allowed to smoke inside. My least favorite thing about clubbing in Korea. Now, even still, they smoke inside. So all of your belongings, my scarf hanging up there still smells like cigarette smoke. My coat smells like cigarette smoke. It's in my hair, it's in my bag. Like it's so frustrating because like the person will be standing right behind you just blowing their smoke everywhere. And Marika, hey girl, hey, she asked me like, is vaping more common over here? Nah, I feel like vaping is really popular and taken over everywhere. Like I know a lot of people in the States vape. I know a lot of people in London vape. I can't say all of the UK, but I know a lot of people, especially younger people, who prefer to vape now. In Korea, I've seen a few people vaping, but overwhelmingly people still love smoking their cigarettes. Like a lot. So it is unfortunate because like literally last night, as soon as I got back in, well, yesterday morning technically, because I didn't get back in until like 6 a.m. yesterday, but I had to wash my hair. Like that was like priority number 1. And that's why I'm filming a little bit later, because I just got around to straightening it today, so I'm losing daylight. But yeah, that is one thing. Boom Bar, you were not allowed to smoke inside, and they actually enforced it. I miss that club. RIP. Boom Bar used to be my favorite in Korea. Didn't survive COVID though, unfortunately. So yeah, in Itaewon in 2018, we used to go to places like Gold Bar. There was one called Compton. There was a Latin club, I think it was called like Bulldog or something. I haven't seen these around lately. I'm not sure if they're still around. There's one called Soap that we really wanted to check out, and I finally got to do that in 2019 because Dean went there in 2018 and I almost met him, but I went to sleep because I was tired after paragliding, so I missed that. But one thing I like about Itaewon over Hongdae is I feel like the people there are a little bit more like mature, they're a little bit older, because Hongdae is like Hongik Daehakyo, Hongik University. So it's like a lot of younger people, a lot of fuckboys, a lot of young college students. And even now being 31, going to Hongdae feels strange. It felt really weird. I mean, I don't look 31, and people are always, they're like, no, like you're not 31. Like everybody is so surprised when they find out I'm in my 30s. They're like, oh my God, I thought you were like, you go to my uni, like you're so young. Fast forward to now. In Itaewon, on Friday, we met these 2 girls. They were really sweet. At first we were just gonna do karaoke and food, but I kind of could tell once we got there the environment was really lit. I was like, we might as well just make it a night out. Like I wanna see what Itaewon's like now after COVID and stuff. So we went we went to this place called Sombrero to get some. I had this giant quesadilla. It was so good. And we didn't even survive walking for like a minute before people are like trying to pull you into their club. That is one thing I've noticed that is really different about clubbing now versus clubbing then. People, the workers and recruiters, whatever you want, the people who work the door will pull you in. Like they're a lot more aggressive. They'll pull you. They'll be like, hey, and it's like an auction, right? It's like they're like, hey, we'll give you a free bottle. Hey, we'll give you some free shots. Hey, free entry. Hey, come on in. Hey, you want a free cocktail? Free bottles. You want another free bottle? It's so crazy. They really want you in their club. I went clubbing last weekend in Hongdae, or no, 2 weekends ago in Hongdae. Last weekend we did Itaewon and then Hongdae again. I have not paid entry to get into a single club yet. And my arm was covered with stamps from getting into different clubs. We finally decided to go into this first place. It was called Mu or MU. I think that's what it was called. It was something lounge, I'm sorry. But we go inside and we go downstairs and we're the only ones in there. We're like, ah. So then we go to get our free drink and then we're like, well, we'd be like dicks if we just left after our free drink, right? We might as well stay, you know, liven it up a little bit, right? So we decided to buy a drink. It was like, you know what, this way we're at least giving them business. Like we're not assholes just taking a free shot and then leaving. So it was kind of nice to be, and I did vlog some of that. So like the Patreon people, you'll see that. It was nice, you know, nobody smoking because there's nobody in there. And we had all this room. It was actually nice, it was a vibe. And then people slowly started to come in. And it was these 2 really sweet girls. They both were like 22. And the song by Baby Monster called Sheesh. And I know the dance a little bit. Got a mug going sheesh, 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 sheesh. So one of them came over and said, hey, hi, like, how do you know the K-pop dances? I was like, oh, well, like, I watched the videos and I'm online and stuff. And then they said, oh, cool, do you want champagne? And then
you have my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
So then after that, they're like pouring champagne in our cups, and then they literally merged with our tables. Now it's 4 of us total. And we end up staying with them for the rest of the night. Like, they were really, and then we're telling, you know, names and ages, and they're like, oh, I'm 22. And Kayla's like, I'm 23. And I was like, I'm 31. They're like, eh? I'm getting a little old for this though, but you know, it's nice to update my experiences and update the archives of knowledge, I guess, before I talk with you guys about what it's like here in Korea as a foreigner. We went from that club, and then we went, I'm not gonna lie, I'm so sorry. I did not do a really good job of remembering the club names in Itaewon, because we literally were just going out one in the other, out one in the other, like in a row. It wasn't like we had particular clubs in mind. Whereas in Hongdae, Kayla knows exactly where she wants to go. She's like, we're taking you to B1. We need to go to Mong's first. So with Itaewon, it was a lot of just going wherever was there. There was one place I remember that was called Mansion that I really liked because they actually played a good amount of K-pop. That was fun. And we got a free bottle in there too. We went to a pub that was right next to the MU place, and we got in for free. We got a free drink, and we just, you know, dancing. Like, it was so much fun. There's something about Itaewon I do like more than Hongdae. Like I said, the people are a little bit older usually, and you have a more diverse range of people. Like, Hongdae is a lot of like hip hop and a lot of hip hop younger students, younger people. Whereas Itaewon is a little bit of everything. Like, there's jazz clubs there, there's hip hop, R&B, pop, EDM. Like, there's a lot, Latin music. Like, there was a Latin pub we went to called Agave. It's very diverse in Itaewon. I really do like it there. And for the girlies who are single, there's a lot more eye candy, in my opinion, in Itaewon. They're well dressed, you know, they're not just in fuckboy attire like they usually are in Hongdae. A lot more chic, I'd say. Itaewon was lit. And it was funny because Kayla knows everybody. She's only been here like a month, and everybody seems to know her. There was this really cute girl who came over with her boyfriend, and she kept telling me I look like Tinashe, and then she said I look like Rihanna, and I was just like, I just look like every black person. That's cool. In my experience, like I've said this many times before, but I feel like Korean girls are already pretty bubbly, or at least in my interaction with them, but in the clubs, they are so freaking nice and sweet, and they want to take pictures. They're a lot more affectionate. They want to talk to you. Oh, Instagram. Friday was a good night. There's actually something hilarious that happened to me on my way back here before we went out to Itaewon. This is kind of why we ended up going to Itaewon that night. I had a solo day of just walking around. So I went to the Gyeongbokgung Palace, and then I walked around like the Hanok Village. And then I wanted to see like City Hall a little bit. I felt like I was around a lot of old people, which was like the first time I was like, holy shit, I'm really starting to see what everyone's saying when they say Korea's population is aging rapidly. And I was like, I need to be around younger people. So I literally walked from City Hall to Itaewon. And what's crazy is I forget that I'm here in a time of great political turmoil, because walking up towards Itaewon, all I saw was pink wreaths that was said like Yoon Suk Yeol, where they're saying like, congratulations, he's gone. Himnaseo, stay strong, he'll be gone soon. I'm just like, oh yeah, I forgot that this is going on right now. Like, literally lined up as far as my eye could see. I saw pink wreaths just everywhere. It was crazy. So then I finally get to Itaewon, and I was like, oh, it looks nice. Like, oh my God, maybe we should come out to Itaewon tonight. But anyway, yeah, I was coming back here before we went there, and I was at the bus stop. And these two kids, I say kids because they had to be like 14. It was a girl and a boy, and they came up to me, and I thought I was in their way of like looking at the map. I took a step back, and they're like, oh, no. So I popped my earbuds out. She just said, may I have your Instagram? And I was like, huh? She was like, you are so pretty. Can I have your Instagram? So I just decided to show her on my phone. And then she goes, oh, or her friend, he said, oh, blue checker. And they're like, you are influencer? And that's another thing. I'm gonna make a whole nother video about that, but I really don't like being called an influencer. I never have. All this time when people are like, oh, you're an influencer, I'm like, please stop saying that. I just make YouTube videos. Anyway, so that was like the start of so many people asking for my Instagram that night. Her and him end up following me later. And then when we got to Itaewon, those two girls we met, we end up following each other. And then there was these two other girls, and one, she's like a bodybuilder. Once we saw her page, and we were all the same age, because somehow she guessed Kayla's age. She was like, you're 23? And she was like, wait, did I tell you my age? How'd you know how old I was? And she's like, wait, you really are 23? Oh, like she just guessed. When they said their age 31, I was like, oh, me too. And they were like, yeah, we're all 31. One thing that I think is really important to note about what I've noticed is different about clubbing in Itaewon now versus pre-pandemic times. After the Itaewon crowd crush, I can actually see visible measures to try to prevent that from happening again. Not only on the ground do they have like green lit dividers, like to show this side of traffic goes that way, that side of traffic goes that way, but they also have like these giant posts with a sign that'll say if it's crowded or not, like in different checkpoints, I guess, along the way, like of the busier clubby side, where it'll say crowded, not crowded, and there's like SOS buttons everywhere. They're really trying to make sure that doesn't happen again. So I think, and for me, that's pretty much Itaewon, because again, I only got to go to Itaewon once, but I did go to Hongdae twice, so let's switch over to Hongdae now. In Hongdae, like I said, before, back in the day, I started to notice a lot of clubs that said foreigners, no, sorry, language barrier, or they only charge foreigners and everybody else gets to be for free. This time, that is not a thing. I've never in my life had so many people trying to get us into their club. Like, that blew my mind. I'm not used to that. Usually if you show interest and stop and look maybe or listen to the music, they might be like, hey, do you want to come in? Not only do they have a lot more foreign workers there, like there's a lot of foreigners with badges that say staff. You just see the staff lit up going across on their torso. There's also a lot of people just trying to pull you in. They're like, hey, how many Naemyeong? Like if there's 4 girls, you get a free bottle at a lot of these different places, which culture shock. So they say, oh, do you want to come in? Free shots, free bottles. And then even when you're trying to leave the club, they're like, do you guys want another bottle? Like stay, we'll give you another bottle.
What they do? What they do?
So far, if I have to recommend the club in Hongdae, I would recommend Mongs. I would try to say, you know, try to avoid the more crowded area, because like the first time we went, we were right in front of like the walkway area, so that was perfect. But the last 2 times we were on the side and it's really crowded, so it's hard to dance without people constantly brushing by you and walking by you, and that gets really fucking annoying. One thing I will say, Korea, they still play a lot of the same music I remember from back in 2017, 2018, but it is updated a bit with, you know, a lot of like, they finally played Not Like Us. They're playing a lot of music from GNX. They definitely updated it, but you will, I guarantee you will absolutely hear Empire State of Mind or New York. You will hear that I have never gone out clubbing in this country and not heard that song in one night. At least once you will hear that song. Oh, and Mumme by Jay Park. You will absolutely Mumme. I went to Onyx first because there's lockers. That's one thing that I really like. A lot of these clubs have lockers where you can store your coat and your belongings, and then you just pay like, it's like 5,000 won. Oh, actually, here's a tip that I would like to give you guys. One thing, so you can avoid all the long lines that inevitably form later, is if you go out a little bit earlier, around like 10, 10:30, 11-ish, before the crowd of people really start to come, go to the bars that you want to, the clubs, the bars that you want to go to, and collect your stamps. That way, when it's time to go in, when it's popping, all you gotta do is show at the door and you can go right in without having to get in the lines. CC's tips. Actually, it's not my tip, that's what the girl showed me, but I'm sharing it with you. Yeah, so first we went to Onyx, then we went to Mongs, and that's why we got the bottle, got the cute little sparklers, and we were in the front, and the staff was really nice. They were super friendly. They were coming over and dancing with us and taking pictures with us. They were really nice. And as we were leaving, they said, oh, like, you guys want another bottle? Like, please don't go yet. So then we went to Aura 2. I think we went to Aura 2, and that's where they play a good bit of K-pop, so that was nice. They played a lot of BTS. They played Dope. They played I Need You. They played Supersonic. Supersonic. After being at Aura 2, we tried to go to, oh, that's one thing. I did hear that there's a club called The Box that likes to charge foreigners. We didn't try to go, I don't know, but that's what I heard. So after that, we tried to get in line for another club, but they wanted us to pay. So they said, never mind. And we went to Sinkhole. And after Sinkhole, we went back to Mongs, I think? No, yeah, Mongs. No, Onyx, and then back to Mongs. So that was the first night out. The second night out, Saturday that just passed by, we went to Onyx again to drop off coats and stuff in the locker. And then we went to Mongs and stayed there for a good bit. And honestly, again, I really wanted to stay. After that, we decided, they said, oh, it's time to show you B1.
Oh!
I don't like B1. I don't like it. B1 was a little too crowded, like way too, and like towards the end of our time there, it literally started to get Itaewon crowd crushy, like people pushing you and pulling you from every direction. I felt my hair getting pulled like against other people. It was too much. It was way too tight in there, and everybody was smoking. Like that is my least favorite thing about nightlife. I cannot stand inhaling everyone's cigarette smoke. I hate it. I hate the smell of it. I hate knowing what it's doing to my lungs. I'm not a smoker. Don't make me one by proxy.
I think I'm getting the black lung, Bob. It's not very well ventilated down there.
For some reason on Saturday, every time when I was like, yo, it's time to go, I'm tired, I'm ready to go to the next place, they played Kendrick Lamar. They knew what they were doing. So after we went to B1, we went to a club called Rollies. Rollies is the most ratchet club I've ever been in Korea. They were definitely playing a lot of like trap sounding hip hop that I am not familiar with at all. The one song that they played for the first like 40 minutes we were there that I knew was Glorilla. I'm that G-L-O-E, what you know about me. But after a while, like the playlist got a little better. They started to play Kendrick again. And they also did like old school love, never knew what I was. One thing that I did not like though is they went from playing They Not Like Us to playing R. Kelly. Certified lover boy, certified pedophile. Like, why are y'all playing R. Kelly right now? And honestly, one of my favorite things to do, I like to just people watch. Like, I love watching people just be in their zone and dance. Like, there were, in Rolly in particular, there was this guy who I'm assuming was with his girlfriend. Like, they look cute together. He was getting his life. Like, he was I was like, are you like a trainee? Like, he was dancing really well. It wasn't like, you know, jumping around or doing a little two-step, a little Dougie. Like, he was moving. I was like, good, very good. Have you guys ever been to the clubs where they randomly throw napkins everywhere? Like when the beat drops or something, napkins just keep falling. Like in Rolly, cause we got like 2 or 3 bottles at Rolly, and for some reason the napkins when they're falling, they're like right there. I gotta cover my drink because like the napkins are about to fall in my drink again. And one thing I will say, because as you guys know, I have a boyfriend, and I really want to note this because I was very much impressed and pleased by this. Whenever guys would come up to me and try to dance or offer me a drink and I said no thanks, they respectfully walked away. I know the bar is low, but that is a certified win. They would come up to me and say, do you have a boyfriend? And I'm like, yeah. And then they just walk away. Like they ask, oh my God. But there was this one really creepy moment in fucking Rolly.
Oh shit, here we go again.
There was 4 of us, 2 of us were drunk and 2 of us were not. I'm usually like mom in these situations. I don't really like to drink a lot. I drink enough to have a buzz, maintain the buzz, have a little fun and be a little more giggly. But I don't like to not be aware of what's going on around me. So I never drink a lot. And I drink the most in the beginning of the night, and towards the end of the night is when I stop. I'll either drink some more water or I just chill, let the alcohol run its course. So this was the end of the night. This was like 5:30 in the morning. The other sober one was already in the bathroom. So I'm at the table with like the 2 friends who were drunk. And then one of the drunk friends needs to go. So I go with her and I ask the other drunk friend, are you okay? Cause she was honestly to the point where she was just kind of in her phone, just standing there. She wasn't drinking anymore. She wasn't even really talking that much anymore. I go with her and then the sober friend's in the bathroom already. So she heard us and she was like, yeah, I'm in here. So then I was like, all right, I'm gonna go back out to check in on the other friend. I go back out there, I kid you, the girl, she could not have been alone for more than 2 minutes. I just can't explain this. There was some guy with like a long white sleeve shirt, arms crossed, standing right behind her, not swaying, not dancing or nothing, with his pelvis and his peen pressed forward against her butt, just
What you say? Oh, that you only meant well.
this is my hips, right? He literally got his arms crossed. He's like this, leaning forward against my friend's butt, just like that. Not swaying, not trying to dance, not bumping. He's literally just like this. And my instinct was to push him. So that's what I did. I was just like, what the fuck?
Ew, get off of me. Ugh, as if.
And then he didn't even try to defend himself. I think he knew he was wrong. He just went, sorry, and then walked away. And I was like, girl. And she's like, what? I was like, you didn't feel that dude behind you? She's like, what guy? Because she's just in her phone. She's not here. She's in her phone. And I was like, there was just a dude behind you with his peen, his pelvis, his hips pressed against your butt. And she's like, wait, what? So that's what I'm saying. You can't leave your drunk friend. You can't leave your girls alone. Like that's just girl code. That's just the rule. But yeah, other than that, the night was mostly peaceful where like a lot of people, like they would come up and be like, oh, okay, bye, sorry. There was a few who would kind of just come up and linger, even when we were like, no thanks. And they would kind of just stand in close proximity. Not say anything, not try anything, but just kind of stand there like, where you come from? Anyway, all in all, I just want to make this video to update you guys on what it's like to club in Korea since COVID. Like a lot has changed. Unfortunately, a lot of businesses and clubs didn't survive the pandemic. There's a lot of new ones now. And I feel like because of that like tourist drought, because Korea's economy is still suffering from, not to get too political on y'all, but politics is relevant every single day. Every country around the world has inflation and is suffering from COVID. The US, thanks to the Biden administration, has done a better job than other countries at recovering from COVID. Like the UK is having it really hard, Canada's having it really hard, Korea, Australia, New Zealand, a lot of these countries are really struggling. The US is not special, it's not an outlier in that. The US has it bad too. Korea is having it particularly hard. So I think they're trying to do a lot of things to incentivize tourism again. And I feel like it's a bad look when all these stories and videos go viral of people being told no foreigners in the club. It makes you not want to go to this country if you know they're not going to welcome you, you know? And it's like just, they got rid of the KETA because in 2021 when I came here, I needed to get a KETA and it was new in 2021. No, in 2021, right after I left, a KETA was required for people who have like visa-free entry to Korea. So in 2022 when I came, I did need to get a KETA. It's valid for 2 years. And now you don't need that anymore. They have a lot more visas where they're trying to welcome tourists again and they're trying to recover. And right now, like the won is down a lot. Like I just bought 2 boxes of contact lenses from Olens. Olens, love it. Not sponsored, should be, but I love Olens. And it came to be like 48,000 won total. And when I looked to see how much of that came out in US dollars, it was only like 28 bucks. The won value is down bad right now. So like I get at the end of the day, all of this is just a business, but I feel like they are starting to see that it's not a good business model, it's not a good look to exclude foreigners. Like it's better to have us involved if you try to make some money again. I find like Hongdae and Itaewon, even right now at 31, really fucking lit. Like I didn't expect to like it. I thought I was gonna be like, all right, y'all, I'm gonna go for a few hours, but I'm leaving by like 3 a.m. I stayed out until like 6 every night that we went out so far. And I was having a lot of fun. Everything was a lot more inclusive. Everything was a lot more involved. Like I really like clubbing here these days and I'll probably do it again this weekend. So yeah guys, if you made it this far in the video, now you're gonna see a bit of the clubbing footage that I captured from last weekend. On Patreon it's gonna be like the longer version because I don't have to worry about being copyright claimed. So if I'm trying to talk and there's music over the background, that can get me copyright claimed. So I have to be really careful with how long each of these clips are so I don't get copyrighted. Don't worry, you guys are gonna see plenty here. Like I recorded a lot in Hongdae, but I'm gonna add Itaewon as like a bonus for the patrons. So I hope you guys enjoy the part 2 of this clubbing in Korea video. I've never done this format before, I don't know what this is like, but I wanted to sit down and explain like my thoughts and my feels about clubbing these days and then show you a little bit of what it was like. So transition ISIS, do it. Clip, vlog footage, go. Y'all wanna hear something crazy? I woke up at like 1:30 p.m. and then I spent the whole day trying, I thought it was behind me still, trying to finish this book because I got 2 days until Onyx Storm comes out. But yeah guys, we're finally gonna do it. We're gonna do a clubbing vlog and you guys are gonna come with me. So basically last night we had an unsolicited night at Itaewon. So basically this vlog will be a clubbing in Korea vlog, but it's gonna have to be a bit censored because of the music and the copyright and stuff. We need to get ready. It's just weird. I've literally been in bed all day and sleep all day and we're about to just do the same thing we did last night again tonight. So let's go.
A few moments later.
I need to get like a shot of the cheese stretching. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the good stuff. Oh. Onto the clubs. In the club, we all fan.
When I was 18, I went to my friend, and then I moved.
Oh, that's not very good lighting. Wow, that's dark. There we go. Gotta find the light.
I'm drunk enough now.
Subscribe and like. Don't be silly. Do what you have to do, man.
I just wanted to document a bit of culture shock because literally you can't walk 2 seconds without somebody trying to pull you in and bribe you with a bottle or free shots. They're literally grabbing us to get us in the club. So this is very different from the last time I was out here in Hongdae.
Only built for saving face, seeing the cosmetics, thinking that LA get it. I'm here with this me. I'm in this bitch with TB. I'm in this bitch with 14.
Thus concludes another night of clubbing in Korea. It is 7:07. I got so lucky with the Swedish taxi driver because this time of night, everybody's either reserving them because they have a Korean phone number and they're allowed to do that, or they're going up to a taxi driver saying where they want to go, and the taxi driver's like, oh, that's gonna be 50,000 won. Oh, that's gonna be 40,000 won, when that's way more than what it should cost. So I said, I'm gonna walk away from the chaos and try to find a lone taxi. And I went to the busy street heading in the direction I needed to go, hoping to flag one down. And I saw like a taxi driver filling up his gas tank, but I saw it just said Seoul, and where I'm at is technically outside of Seoul. So I was like, I don't think he's even gonna take me. I wasn't even gonna bother asking. So I'm just standing there shivering on the corner. And then he goes, oh, like, and he's like, do you need a taxi? And I was like, nah. And he said, do you need a taxi? And I was like, yes. And I told him my location. He's like, oh yeah, come on in. I was like, oh, thank God. I was like, oh, 감사합니다. 너무 추워. He's like, 아이고. And he like turned up the heat for me. He's like, oh, you must be so cold. We survived. I'm about to shower and sleep because tomorrow I need to edit and film and do my hair. And yeah, I forgot about this. There was this Korean girl who gave us stickers because she said we were so hot. So yeah, clubbing in Hongdae. And then I'm gonna talk about what I think has changed. And I need to go to bed. That was the clubbing footage. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe, leave a like for the engagement, leave a comment for the watch if you don't know what to say, or give me your thoughts on clubbing in Korea and like their relationship with foreigners, if you think it's getting better or worse, what you've heard. I'm very curious to know because so far I feel like Korea is better than I remember it. Also, quick reminder, story time coming out in a few days. So if you missed the story times, that's coming. And if you want to see some, don't forget to binge the playlist. It's about to pop up on the end screen. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time. Annyeong.